Hey, you guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Donovan Sadiq and always right, Sean Fortine, and this is the Hot Seat Radio Show, where you guys can get the latest and greatest updates on what's going on in the Inland Empire, especially the city of Moreno Valley. A lot of stuff going on in the city of Moreno Valley in regards to Councilwoman Victoria Vaca and her perceived recall that is trying to get approval, and I will update you on that. But before we do that, I want to welcome Sean to the show. And if you guys are watching at home, please like, share, and comment. We're getting a lot of good feedback. That's my mama cat, Misty. She is 10 years old. I've been with her for 9 years, and she's camera shy. But notice she was there before you guys, before the show started. But if Tylen comes in here and starts shaking the screens, don't worry about it. That's just what he does. But Sean, you just got some brand new information in regards to
the whole HCCA fiasco. The state is going to intervene and audit HCCA now.
Okay, and HCCA is the
healthcare conglomerates. Healthcare. It was a hospital management company owned by Benny Benzivi with
his brother Ito. So basically,
his brother Ito had a financial stake in the company.
And this happened in Tulare, California. So
yes.
Okay.
The last fall, the judge gave the hospital board authorization to breach the contract and quit doing business with them. And they actually had to shut the hospital down to avoid massive fines and penalties from the state. So as a result of HCCA's mismanagement, the hospital's closed, and now this hospital board has had to go back to court because apparently Benny Benzivi bought a gym to go with the hospital, and apparently he listed himself as the CEO of the hospital and not just HCCA. So now the board has to go back and say that this is now going back to the judge and saying, hey, this contract was
inadvertent or should be
void. Well, no, the contract should be invalid because it was done fraudulently.
Okay. Well, I mean, when your last name is Benzivi, it's a name of failure or nothing coming of it. And I'm only saying that based on the public record of what has been. And
I haven't seen much about the Southern Indio Hospital, but last I saw, HCCA was going to agree to terminate the contract if the hospital board did not investigate mismanagement.
So now they're going to go ahead and do that. That's the assembly decided to step in.
Yes, and I guess you're going to have to when your company is closing 2 hospitals.
Right, in a region that likely needs it. But I wish we would have the assembly step in down here when you have 6 cities now that have dealt with corruption. Yeah, I wish they would step in. So.
Yeah, and if the Southern Indio Hospital closes, the next nearest hospital is going to be 60 miles away.
Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good at all. Doesn't look good at all. So that's good to know. We're going to keep you posted on that. You guys, please stay tuned. Sean will stay on top of that and give us some updates. But again, if your name is Benzivi and you're attached to public works, to me, it just seems like the Ito family, the Benzivi family, they are good at extraditing tax dollars for their pockets. I wonder if they're Democrat or Republican. Would it matter? They're both.
I think they're just mercenaries.
Yeah, just mercenaries. And then for those of you guys on the national level, real quick, Sean's on the right. I'm somewhere in the middle because I really don't give a damn. But Democratic Congresswoman, 24 years, go Gators, Corrine Brown, was finally reported to prison Monday. This woman served 24 years. She was the first black person sent to Congress since the Civil War in Florida. And she went to jail for 18 of 24 counts of corruption. It has to do with money fraud, taxing, and the biggest thing was stealing money from a charity. So I don't want people listening to us right now thinking that I just bash Republicans and stuff. I bash politicians. I don't give a damn. So that's my thing. When it's wrong, it's wrong. And number one, I think we can both agree, Sean, that stealing from children and making scholarships, there's no excuse for that. And she's lucky because she only got 5 years. Mm-hmm. But she tried to get out of it by saying that, oh, well, I'm 71 years old. But you were running for re-election, so you were physically fit to run for re-election. Yeah. Why can't you go to jail now? So
yeah, if it was Nancy Pelosi, I'd question her physical fitness. But
did you see her, the way she looked?
Yeah.
Well, was she moving her dentures? Or
yeah.
She's horrible.
I've been told that by someone that used to work in an old folks home that's usually a sign of dementia, and eventually that's all she'll do is just sit there and make that face.
Yeah, but what do you mean sign of it? I think she's had it for a long time.
I know. She shows signs of psychosis, and she was recently talking about meeting with Trump, and she was calling him President Bush.
Her, Dianne Feinstein, I mean, all of them. I mean, these people that are like 90 years old, what are they still doing there?
Ginsburg.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's a lifetime, so she can die there for all we can. But we're talking about, I'm talking about the people that are elected. Yeah, it's like, Jesus Christ, jeez.
Yeah, and then on the other side, you've got McCain.
McCain and Orrin Hatch. Orrin Hatch is what, 92 or
something like that.
And he's talking, and he was talking about running for re-election. I guess they talked about it and said, look, you've done everything you can do here. 40, 50 years in Congress, that's enough. You got to go do something else. So, but so we're going to keep you posted on that, and that's something that affects not just Moreno Valley. It affects the whole Southern California region because you have a lot of people that depend on that hospital, and now they don't have a hospital at all.
Yeah, and I'd hate to see them get their hands on a hospital locally. We have enough problems with skilled employment.
Yeah. Speaking of Ido Benvizi and his imaginary project, the World Logistics Center, and I say it's imaginary because it hasn't been built yet. I'm not saying that it hasn't been approved. This project has been approved, but it's going through a lot of stuff, and it went to court last week, and in the weekly Press Enterprise and a lot of people that are reporting it, the Riverside County judge appeared to be siding with opponents of the World Logistics Center in questioning whether Moreno Valley had fully analyzed the environmental effects of the planned warehouse complex. So, if Ido is listening and his Idoites are listening, do you guys realize I'd say a third of people that are against this project would not be against the project if you had done the EIR and the environmental studies like you were supposed to. But you didn't want to do that because, number one, it cost a lot of money, and you knew that it probably would not pass the environmental studies. And so this judge has been weighing this stuff in, and their stuff's been on appeal. There's a lot of things, a decision she's made that's been on appeal. And I'm going to read you what Emperor Ido, who I call Emperor Ido, has said, because he's supposed to be this great businessman, right? And this is a quote from Ido Benvizi, CEO and president of Highland Fairview. He said that even if more safety study was needed, he did not see it as an obstacle, saying it provides everybody with direction, everything that needs to be done. Then why didn't you do it?
Sounds like he basically conceded that the opponents have
a valid,
case is valid.
Yeah, the case is valid.
Basically, he's conceded that to his opponent's case.
Right. He said, well, okay, that's what I'm saying. If he had done this, I wouldn't have been against the WLC. Oh, he went to the environmental study, everything is good? Hey, we'll have at it.
I don't see how that project would have been approved for that area if it had gone through all through the proper steps.
Right. But just think about the third of the people, this is what I estimate, a third of the people who were against this project just because it didn't go through the EIR. Just because of that. Yes. And now he's turning around saying, well, it'll give us direction. Well, if you knew that, you dumbass, why didn't you do that from the first place instead of causing all this commotion within the city?
You know what the ironic thing is that he used to own land down over near the Air Force Base.
Right.
He used to own land in the Edgemont area where there actually are building warehouses now, and it has access to the interstate
like it's supposed to.
Yeah, and the thing is that he had that land foreclosed upon in the mid '90s, and
Wow.
his debtors couldn't actually get a hold of him to serve notice, so they had to post notices in newspapers.
Because he's nowhere to be found. He probably had to go back to Israel for that little citizenship thing or something.
I don't know if he's been. I don't know if he's ever been to Israel since he left.
Yeah, so I don't know. Who knows what's going on with these guys?
Yeah, so the ironic thing is that he used to own land that actually would have been suitable for warehouses and is being used for warehouses now.
Right. So it looks like that this judge is leaning toward the environmentalists. Mm-hmm. And like I've said, I don't have a problem with his warehouse being built. It's just that it has to be built in the right place and it has to go through the right inspections. Is it safe for me to have 14,000 additional trucks? He keeps saying that there isn't 14,000 additional trucks, but if it isn't, here's what they keep printing in all kinds of publications. Plan for 2,610 acres at the eastern end of the city. That's 10% of our city. South of the 60, the warehouse complex would be the size of 700 football fields and one of the largest in the nation. A traffic study found the project would draw 68,721 vehicles trips a day. 14,006 of those would be trucks. Period. Everybody's reporting that, but he keeps saying that ain't correct. If it ain't correct, then why aren't you suing people for posting the wrong numbers? Yeah. He doesn't want to do that. Now, 14,000 additional trucks, just the trucks alone, you can't tell me they're all going to be electric. You can't tell me they're all going to be environmental. It's got to have. It's going to be
a lot of NAFTA drivers with their junk trucks.
Right, exactly. So you can't tell me there's not going to be an impact via air, via noise, via something. Look at our roads already right now for the trucks that we already have. So
and he says if it's going to be one of the biggest in the nation, I mean, projects even a fraction of that size have been developed with the study. Have been studied and put strategically in places where two interstates meet and they have rail access.
Right, exactly. And that's basic logistics. I've been saying that for years now. Years. So it looks like he's conceding that, maybe we should have done this, but maybe he tried to take a shortcut and said, well, if I can get away with it, I can get away with it.
No, I wish he would just sell the property off to another developer that would just put like minimum half-acre ranch houses.
Yeah, something,
build like giant horse properties out there. That would be congruent with the design of what the area is already like out there.
Right. I just wish somebody would have the balls, the cojones, to run this guy out of our town. He doesn't live here. Run him out of the town. And if I was on that council, that would be one of my first things I'd be trying to do. I'd be battling that guy every day. Just trying to find something on him, saying, no, this is bull and exposing his bullshit. But me and Ito are good friends. It has nothing personal. It's just, I don't like the way you conduct your business.
Yeah, and not to mention that he's, in the process of doing that, he's had to finance campaigns for people that have driven up crime.
Right, exactly. And we're going to get to that in a little bit. Val Verde School District will be the first in Riverside County to have its own police force. So now school districts are doing what colleges are doing, and they are now employing their own school district, their own police force. Now, why is it that the Val Verde School District we know Measure M and all the money that they're getting, but they can stand up a police force, and we don't have enough police officers. Can we borrow theirs?
It would be nice.
Yeah.
I guess it would have to be like some sort of major incident or disaster.
Yeah, where it's a shared thing. Because someone's not an officer. But now, basically, regular schools are now having their own security, which maybe it's something that is long overdue because today a 12-year-old girl in LA shot her classmate over probably something like Facebook or something, and it got out of hand. Mm-hmm. And once again, how can a 12-year-old girl get her hands on, we know it's LA, you can get your hands on a gun, but if it's her parents' gun, again, this is what the gun people who want to take our arms away use as an excuse to say, see? Mm-hmm. The key to gun control is not getting rid of guns. People are shooting, not the guns. So it's these irresponsible gun owners that are doing what's going on. And again, a 12-year-old girl got a hold of it, and
That sounded like she was going to kill him one way or another.
exactly, and and what
Because it doesn't sound like she was out for high score. It sounded like she was out for specific people. And she was
exactly,
gonna
and
kill
she
him one way or
and she
another.
shot him dead in the head from the reports, and that happened actually today. So my prayers to the families and things of that nature. But what are these kids doing to where this is what they're thinking? There's no more, Sean, I got a problem with you. Let's go fight it out, man to man, and fisticuff. And if you beat me, you beat me. If you don't, you don't. I can attest. When I was in school, I got into a lot of fights and I got my ass kicked a lot. But I gave you all you can handle, and I never got bullied again. But then again, I started taking karate, so that was to kind of help my edge, give me an edge. But that's what we need to start doing. I mean, what happened to those days? You're going to live. You're not trying to UFC and choke me out and and gouge my eyes. But locally, let's get into this real quick.
Well, even when I was in middle school, it was starting to get to the point where it's like, oh, you lose a fight, I'm going to come back with all my friends and beat you up.
I'm a little bit older than you, so it was just like, hey, don't jump in, let them fight it out, and it's over. So you're going to do what you're going to do. Okay, Victoria Baca. I don't know if you saw, Sean, and any of you people that are listening saw, Victoria Baca is once again spreading her lies about all of her accomplishments. Now, it's been almost 2 years. I have not seen Victoria Baca, other than on TV, in the district doing anything. Okay? And she's saying in 1 year, here are some of her accomplishments, Sean. She's increased public safety officers. But wasn't she the one that cut them?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense, does it? She increased the cameras in the city.
It's not helping. From what I understand, no one's actually watching those cameras in the first place.
No, but they have some people every now, but they're not doing anything, just watching. But that's not true either, because you weren't all the stuff that I'm going to list, everybody. How city thing works, it's just like anything else. If Sean just got elected to office, the things these were already approved on the books before he got here. So just like Sean, that example I just gave you, Victoria Baca, this was all done under LaDonna Jimson, George Price, in that regime. Because you just can't show up one day. You know how government works. Nothing works like that.
Yeah.
It takes approval, processing, blah, blah, blah. That's why you don't see any construction of the World Logistics Center, even though it's been approved. It has to go through all these lawsuits and stuff like that.
Well, also, no other private investor wants to do business with him.
Exactly.
So that slows him down even more.
Yeah, that slows him down even more. So she said that she's increased cameras in the city, which is bullshit, because we get a grant for that,
Yeah.
and it's being phased.
Yeah.
So that's bullshit.
The problem with the cameras is that psychopaths don't think ahead that, oh yeah, there's a camera there before they act impulsively and commit a crime.
Right, exactly. And we have plenty of crime here in Moreno Valley. She says that she's been #1 in job creation and bringing jobs. Didn't she say that last time? What jobs?
Wouldn't be surprised me. I haven't seen any significant change in jobs.
If I see one more Spanish restaurant, I'm just gonna pull. Well, I don't have any hair anymore. I'm gonna pull my hair out.
Yeah, that's the only jobs I ever see is new restaurant opening. Now waitresses and waitresses and cooks and
part-time
janitors.
jobs.
Yeah.
So no. Education programs. You're a city council person. You have nothing to do with education. So how did you create that? City council people have nothing to do with the school districts. So how did you create
I don't know.
education
There hasn't
programs?
been any news of her doing anything to partner with the school district.
Right. I haven't seen anything. So
I don't think her meeting including with Evan Morgan in private counts.
Right. And who knows what they were doing in private, since Evan Morgan believes in forcible rape. I hope you protected yourself. Are you one of those Me Too women, Victoria Baca? I'm not sure. So that's bullshit. Education programs. She says she's done quality of life, and quality of life means road improvements. Slurry seal is not improving your road. It's paving your road. That's all it's doing.
It's damage control of the road.
Yeah, that's not improving. That's not improving anything. So that's bullshit. Homeless to work program. How's that working out? We only have 38, according to Michelle, former city manager Michelle Dawson. We only have 38 homeless people in the city. So how is that program working out?
I don't know. I'm still seeing the junk from the camps piling up.
I see trash all off of Fredericks after you get off the 60 freeway and stuff like that. So I think that would say that's a failure. But again,
because you'd think that you'd be at least paying the homeless people to clean up after themselves if that program was working.
If that was the case, but you say you champion homeless to work, but you can't find regular citizens jobs here in Moreno Valley. Mm-hmm. So, but you rather employ a homeless person than somebody who's looking for work.
Yeah, well, I would cut her some slack if the homeless program was actually working.
Right? No. If it is, but what I'm saying is I'm calling bullshit because that program, you weren't even on the council when that program was invented.
Yeah.
So that's bullshit. She says that she is responsible for a brand new library and more.
Wasn't she on the council when they gutted the budget for the library for that bridge?
She absolutely was.
That was like something like. But something like it ended up being something like what, $24 million?
$24 million and they had to outsource the city employees.
Yeah.
And so I mean, bullshit again.
Yeah, and they only got like what, like $9 to $11 million back.
Yeah. Yeah, and
still didn't go to the library.
Right, and they paid the employees at the outsourcing company $7 an hour and $9 an hour to work there.
Is that even legal in the state?
I think the state minimum wage is what, 7?
I think it's 9.
9 something, yeah, whatever the minimum wage was. But that's all they were paying those guys, and those people didn't give a damn what you did in there. But that's bullshit too. And she says she did this in 1 year. Government doesn't work like that.
No, the city can't even get the city project done in 1 year.
Double LC was what? That was approved 4 years ago?
Yeah, those are like 2015.
Right. Okay, that was done 3 years ago. Not one thing they've done to even dig it up. The Sketchers project, been approved. Nothing's been done.
It takes at least a year to get a street paved.
Right.
So there's no way she's going to get a library.
So all of these things that she's saying that she's done is total bullshit. And then if you look back on city council meetings, you will see a young Negro firebrand that was a big troublemaker in District 1 that had suggested, why don't we just throw a library in the mall? And I wasn't the only one that suggested it. So
you got to do something with the mall.
Right, you got to do something with it to bring in income. So how did she, and I did this, I said that 3 or 4 years ago. So how did she come up with all this shit? Once again, it's bullshit, and this is what she's putting out, this lie out here. Because here's going to be the funny thing. The very things that she listed here, Idiot Gutierrez is going to list it too. I was the mayor, and I did this, and I'm an idiot mayor, and I know whatever. So that's what's going to happen there. I just debunked this bullshit, and she's doing that because there is a recall. Somebody is trying to get enough signatures for a recall. And unfortunately, Miss Baca thinks that Eric, who's doing the golf course, is behind that recall. And that's a rumor put out there by Idiot Morgan and the rest of the idiots, and that's not true.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that developer having anything to do with city politics. He's smart enough not to do that.
Yeah, he has nothing to do with city politics. And if he did, we would be the first to report that because I'm good friends with that guy. And again, he's here to make his little money, get us a golf course that works. He's bringing in a Boys and Girls Club, bringing a restaurant, and revitalizing that area.
Yeah. Notice how it's rather ironic that the best way to get business done is to not deal with the city.
Yes. Very, very much so. Very much so. So those guys that have been asking, another thing is what the Edoites do is to squelch information getting out there to you. They can't really do it to us because, I'm on different platforms. Is if you go into different groups, what they do is they complain about what you're posting and they put you in Facebook jail. So if you haven't seen me in a lot of these groups anymore, it's because I constantly stay in Facebook jail. But what you can do is you could go onto the Hot Seat Facebook page, our YouTube channel, whatever, and we're doing these shows and we're putting this information out there so that you can be informed and aware of what is going on in the city.
Oh yeah, speaking of being better off not doing business with the city to get things done. We still have empty seats on the planning commission, and they cannot have a quorum to conduct any business. Not just like people that suck up to the city council to business, but everything's paralyzed until they have
right,
more people.
and that's been almost a year. So if the city planning commission hasn't met in a year or approved anything in a year, how the hell did Victoria Baca do all this in less than a year? The city's been at a standstill for over a year because we don't have a quorum.
There were more than enough people that put an application to be on that commission, and there were even enough competent people to put on the commission, but only Lowell and someone else got approved, and then everything else is just held up until Gutierrez can get his butt kissers through.
Yeah, exactly. And one of his butt kissers, he's trying to get him on. I have no education. I don't know what I'm doing. But guess what? I'm a big vocal person for Ido Benzizi. Yeah. So that's who we're trying to get on. But let's go back.
And it is, I have to admit, it is odd that the Club 3.0 hasn't been able to get anyone on. Mm-hmm. I'm just...
That is very strange.
Yeah, I can't prove it,
mm-hmm.
but my suspicion is that the butt kisser people have something in their education or their background that makes it where they risk a major embarrassment to and liability to.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Council.
That is a very good point because now they have to go through a background check to see what's going on.
Yeah.
But here's something that you guys need to know about Victoria Baca. She has not been seen in this district in almost 2 years. She is working for the asshole Villagosa campaign to be governor, which will never fucking happen. Here's some of the things that people have been saying that she has been doing. She has reduced transparency by silencing half the city, by getting agenda items. In our city, it used to be you needed at least 2 council members to put something on the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
She's voted to put it to the 3 people. Now, guess who has the majority? The new 3.0 club. So she's reduced half the city and silenced half the city by having only her people approve agenda items. Mm-hmm. So when we get a new candidate in there, we need to change that.
And that isn't. That's not common with. Usually, most legislative bodies allow a large minority to propose something and put it up for a vote.
Right, even a minority group to put that in. So if you're even in the minority. She reduced notices prior to meetings, so what we get, is it 3 days notice or 5 days notice?
Legally, it has to be at least 3 days.
Okay, yeah. I think we get 5 days notice, but we used to have, 12 days. So she's reduced that. She colluded to not fill, as we've already talked about, open commission seats. Mm-hmm. Why they won't fill the planning commission seats doesn't make any sense to you or I. But again, she claims that she's done all this stuff in a year, but we haven't had a planning commission in a year. So how did she do all this stuff? So she's full of shit. She disbanded the Trail Board. And the Trail Board is a historical board that we've had since the inception of the city that pretty much gives us guidance on our historical trails and things that are going on in the city.
God forbid we actually have some recreational activities in this city.
That's what we do. It's called street racing, carjacking, home invasion.
Weed.
Doing and
raves, parties.
Yes. And that's going to be a big
things that attract the police helicopter.
Yeah, right. Right. Well, we are paying 20% of that budget. We might as well use it. So she used public funds for personal gain for Ido and possibly herself. That's alleged. She illegally took hood rat Luis Palomares, who goes around neighborhoods and vandalizes them and takes candidates. She uses her grandkids and takes, other candidate signs and vandalizes them stuff. So city hood rat Luis Palomares to League of California Cities and provides her with a fake badge so that she could parade around like she's a Moreno Valley official representing us. Mm-hmm. Now, those of us that know Luis Palomares and you know her background, she is definitely not the person you want representing you or your city.
Yeah.
Because all you're doing, if you put Luis Palomares over there, all you're saying is your city is Alcatraz. So that's what she did there. They're also saying that she postponed study sessions to talk about is going from 4 districts to 6. When a city is growing, you don't reduce the districts, you expand them. But she's been postponing that as best she can so that that doesn't happen. Various Brown Act violations, and a lot of that paperwork is public record if you want to see some of the charges that is going up against her. And I've had a charge that was put against her in the FPPC that has been official. So this lady is totally corrupted, totally full of shit, total politician. I don't give a shit. She's a Democrat, so fuck her. Has not required Ito to adhere to development agreement. This man won't even adhere to the agreement that he agreed. But then again, we had a mayor called Jesse Molina, a good friend of mine, veteran, who said, I'm going to be there every day to make sure they know. And there we go. And I'm not trying to talk bad about Jesse. I'm just trying to tell you guys these are facts. These people get elected, they don't know what they're doing, and they don't keep their word themselves. One thing that we've done is we said we were going to be here. We've been here. And we've been telling you that. So in regards to, and she's saying all this because there's a movement to once again recall Victoria Baca. And once again, Victoria Baca is going to put us on the map as a city because she will be, if this recall is successful, the first elected official recalled twice in a term and never completed her term. She'd be the first person to do it.
In state history or U.S. history?
State history. I don't know about U.S. history, but I know state, nobody's ever done that. Because once you've been recalled and booted, nobody has the gall or the balls to run again because you've been disgraced already. They don't want you. But the reason why, and I know people listening across the board are saying, well, how did she get back on the board? Is because we had a bank robber that took the seat, which she shouldn't have done, which made her a martyr that said, see, this woman's a bank robber. I wasn't charged with it, and it was a big mess. And she became a martyr, and that's how she got on the seat, using the sympathy and the martyr vote, which is why I told LaDonna Jimson she should not run and let somebody else. It didn't have to be me. It could have been Mercado or somebody else. So, but speaking of the recall real quick, once again, I'm going to tell you guys, who is behind the recall is the Democratic Club of Moreno Valley. I've said that. I stand by that. I know that's who it is. Rating Ayers and her group, Rating Ayers can't get elected to be dog catcher, much less street sweeper. So she's trying to be a shot caller. And the same people who did the recall the first time, these are just facts, are the same people doing the recall now. That's just the bottom line. And I have been messaged several times to meet with these people so that I can help them with the recall. I didn't help you with the first damn recall. I agreed with the first recall, but I didn't help you. But now they want my help. And they want me to sit down in a meeting so that I can get my followers. What followers? What followers do I have? I don't control anybody around here.
Yeah.
We just put the news out. That's all we do. So
I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't. As much as I would like to see Baca recalled, I wouldn't get involved with them.
Yeah, no. And I wouldn't get involved with anybody right now. And I don't believe that this recall is going to be successful because people are tired.
And weren't a lot of her friends supporters of Jemison?
Yes.
Yeah, so now they suddenly want your help.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If that was the case, if you guys really cared about this city Democratic Club of Moreno Valley, you would have gotten and told LaDonna, you have no chance of winning now because you've fooled the people and whatever. You and Donovan did something great. We need to get behind one consensus candidate. I didn't say it was going to be me. If somebody came to me and said, okay, we've got to get together, who do we? Jerry Mercado. Let's get somebody else but us.
Yeah.
Because I'm controversial, whatever else. But that's what I would have done because that's what's best for the district. But one thing I didn't want was Victoria Baca to get back to that seat. And that's what I told LaDonna. If you stay and you run, she's going to get that seat by splitting the vote. And that's exactly what happened. So, and if we had known that she was a bank robber, guess who would have been your council person the first time? It would have been me. Because I was the only other option. So I don't think this recall is going to be successful. Most of the people that are involved in this recall are 60 years plus. Dave Marquez was given a recall. He is a member of the Democratic Club and also a friend of mine, but I've got to, tell the truth the way it is. So this is a tit for tat type thing, and all I could do is tell you what's going on. So, I mean, how do you feel about Dave Marquez getting a recall notice?
I wouldn't consider myself a big supporter of him. I really don't see what he's
just sitting there.
He hasn't really done anything for recall, and I don't see who. I really don't know who else would be willing to take his place under these circumstances.
Exactly, and that's something you also got to think about. If you're going to recall somebody, you better have a damn good candidate that people can get behind. You just can't recall somebody and say, okay, well, who are we going to run? Mm-hmm. Oh, LaDonna, and somebody messaged me about would I support Denise Fleming? Hell no! I didn't support her then. I'm not going to support her now. Denise Fleming is an ethically flawed candidate, and I've proven that over and over and over again. So that's not going to happen. So that's kind of what's going on in the local politics of everything. Victoria Baca is, and rightly so, she should be worried about a recall because it did happen before, and it could happen again. But I don't think that they have the stamina or the personnel to do it. So. And once again, a good moniker for Victoria Baca, don't use stop the bull and what was that other thing she used in the last recall?
I don't know.
Stop it already or something she had said. It was really stupid.
Yeah, and she made up a bunch of fake organizations like Clergy Gets Recalled.
Yeah, all this stupid stuff, and Don't do that. Stand on your own record, Victoria Baca. I don't really care for you or respect you, but I'm just going to tell you straight out as a political analyst and somebody who loves politics, stand on your record. Of course, you haven't done shit in 2 years, but stand on it. That's all you can do. Yeah, that's what she said. Enough already. That was her saying. Enough already. Don't say that. You are very unpopular as it is. The Baca name, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to people whose name is Baca, but Sheriff Lee Baca, the guy that was in San Bernardino Baca, all of these people went to jail, and it's just a bad, name recognition is really not good with that name right now. So try to keep a low profile, keep your head down, and good luck to you. So what else do you got going on?
The county and sheriff haven't been playing well together.
Yeah, I've been kind of looking at that. So what's going on?
Yeah, well, the county cut the sheriff's department budget by $40 million, and then they used that $40 million to hire this consultant agency, and the consultant agency changed some prioritization for calls. They changed up the process in how calls were sent out, and the result was a general trend that increased the delay between the time the call was made and the time that the cops were able to reply. Right. And there were times when it was up and down, where it was down, but overall the trend was up, and eventually the city of Hemet had to the office, Hemet Sheriff's Office needed to get out of this plan that this consultant company had made because it was causing more problems than it solved. And so now the county is accusing Sheriff Sniff of sabotaging it, but there really wasn't anything that this consultant company was going to be able to do to improve it. I mean, Sheriff Sniff was already doing everything he could with the resource he was given, and then the county cuts $40 million out of his budget for this consultant company, and I honestly wonder if there's any financial or personal ties between any of the county supervisors and anyone in this consultant company. It just seems really odd that they would pay $40 million for this, and even more screwed up that they would take it out of the sheriff's budget.
Hey, you got to take it from somewhere. I mean, you can only squeeze people so long. Lake Elsinore is taking camping to the extreme. The city is investing $14 million into renovating Lakeshore Campground. Now, that is a smart thing to bring people there. And they're saying Lake Elsinore has a 3,000 acre body of water in town that leaders hope to turn into a hot regional tourist draw. We have 5 council members. How come nobody is thinking about making Lake Paris a tourist draw that's within our jurisdiction? That is something, it gets hot as hell out here in the summertime.
Yeah.
So why can't we start helping that? I know it's a state park over there, but we can still advertise for it and bring dollars into the city and do things like that. Why can't we do that?
Well, in better times, the gas stations and little stores down in that area made a lot of money off of that.
Yeah, I mean, I like to go fishing and camping and stuff like that, and it's, we just don't have people that know what they're doing. I mean, when you come from LA and you come from a concrete jungle and you come out here to the suburbs, your mentality is LA, and that's just how, you don't know what it's like to ride horsing and horsing trails and doing something that's different outside of your environment. So there's a lot of news happening in the city of Moreno Valley. It seems like the World Logistics Center is facing a very, very precarious situation when it comes to the environmentalists. The judge might be leaning. It doesn't say she's done it, but if she does say they have to go back and do the EIR, it's a victory. But again, the WLC has been approved. So all that's going to say, unless Ito wants to fight it, which he probably will because he has no intention of building this bullshit, is go back and do the EIR. If he does do it, the project moves forward.
Yeah, but if the EIR has to be redone, wouldn't that still leave the project in limbo because the project is approved in a way that's not that was ruled illegal?
Right, exactly. It'll be in limbo. Like I said, I don't think he has any intentions of building it. It just, he's putting himself in these situations to where it looks good. I'm going to bring all these jobs and stuff like that, and it sounds good, but the reality of it, it's not going to happen. It's just not. 25 years out, who comes to a community and says, you know what, I'm going to build you guys all these jobs in 25 years?
Ito's in his 50s now. Is he really going to try and?
Yeah, he's in the late 50s.
Is he really going to stick around and try and build? Is he really going to try and stick around for 25 years to try and build this thing out?
I think that's the plan. So, again, like I said, you guys, it'll be a victory, but it's going to be delaying the inevitable if it ever does happen. And most of you guys aren't going to be here anyway. There's still white flight going on. You go to the east side of the city, I see nothing but for sale signs. One house here, 3 houses down, another house. So when people are getting out of Dodge because we have sold our soul into warehouses, and that's where we're at now. We are known as Warehouse City and Corrupt City. So if you're smart, go get you a place down in Menifee, Rancho Mirage, California, and some of these great communities that are coming back. San Bernardino is coming back. I mean, they're slowly doing it, but they're coming back.
Unfortunately, a lot of people don't have value in their house. Don't have enough value in their house to move to those places.
And that's sad too. You come here with this great dream, and then you invest in warehouses, which brings the value of your property down. And but that's just where we're at. And again, if you don't participate in your city, these are the kind of things that happen. And by the time you realize they're happening, it's too late. So this is what we're doing. You guys stick around for the second hour. We got more to talk about. We had a golf course meeting last Saturday. For those of you guys that have seen it, let me give you guys an update. Please, again, I'll let you know what's going on so that we can get rid of these half-truths by a real estate agent named Leo who gets his check from Ito, and he puts out all this false stuff, which, and thank God he didn't come to the meeting and embarrass himself again, because the first time he came, he totally didn't know what he was talking about, and it showed. So you guys stay by for the second hour. We're gonna get to that. This has been the Hot Seat Radio Show. Always right. I got to say that. He is always right. Sean Fortine. I'm Donovan Sadiq. We'll see you guys in the second hour. Stand by.